There are a lot of people who have established groups of D&D. They play with people that they know very well, that they've been playing D&D with for a long time, and this presentation is not really for them. But there are a lot of people out there in the world who are content creators, and they're professional DM. They want to be professional DMs, and they're trying to meet new people. Basically, if you're playing with new people, or if you're meeting new people, or in any most D&D situations, I think it's good to have a solid understanding of the D&D social contract, even if you're not going to write it out. Let's go over here. So this presentation that I will be giving is on the D&D social contract, okay? It is by me, Fever Dream Studios. The first thing that I will be talking about is what is a social contract? A social contract is a set of expectations of behavior, of human behavior. There are two kinds. There are explicit social contracts, such as the Constitution of the United States of America, and there are implicit social contracts, like raising your hand in class before you speak, okay? Guess which one we're going to be talking about in this presentation primarily? You guessed it, it's both. What are the D&D specifics when it comes to social contracts? Well, it is still a set of behaviors, okay? Expectations about behaviors. It is still a set of expectations about behaviors of the humans at the table, okay? What topics or behaviors are not allowed at the table. So, for example, if somebody has life experiences that make them uncomfortable with certain topics, like horror, for example, then, being clear that I'm not okay with this, you can't do this, all right? Things like safety tools, these are all things that you should be talking about. And the social contract helps establish what is on the table and what is off the table. So behaviors are things like crosstalk during combat, or being on time. These are expectations that some people might have and some people might not have, okay? Another classic one that I think goes under discussed and that I referred to in my dissonance presentation is what genre are we playing at the table and what does that mean? So for example, I'm running a horror game. So that means in this adventure, there will be bodily mutilation, there will be pineapple on pizza, and if you are uncomfortable with any of those things, then you shouldn't be playing in this adventure because it's not good for you, all right? Another sort of tangential thing to behaviors is table etiquette. So classic one is being on time. I told this to my players, I expect them to be on time. Another one that perhaps people should introduce is bring your puppy. Puppies are the best. Now, I am going over this relatively quickly because going over it quickly makes for more digestible content, but when it comes to actually being at the table, you should definitely spend a lot of time discussing it with the people with whom you are playing. Now, why should you set it in advance? Why should you discuss this in advance? Well, like with most expectations, you think it's understood, but it probably isn't. I say here being neurotypical is overhyped. There are neurodivergent people like myself for whom social expectations is not immediately understood, or it's not automatically understood. So there are those people for whom this is an inclusive process. Being clear about your expectations helps include those people in your activity. But being a neurotypical person means that you have certain assumptions, but it does not mean that you have the same assumptions as another neurotypical person, which is why I say that being neurotypical is overhyped, because I think it leads to a clash where people think that those expectations are the same and that they're understood, but in fact, they are not. Now, one thing you will notice about this presentation is that I have not included a lot of examples. I have not shown you other people's social contracts. Why is that? One, different people like different things, different strokes for different folks, if you will. My advice to you is to just start writing it or talking about it, especially with your players or your DM, and you will come to understand what it is that you care about. I think the danger of looking at other people's social contracts, and you can find them online. You can definitely find them online very easily if you look up social contract or D&D social contract, stuff like that. You will find other people's things, but the reason I would not advocate for it is because I don't want people to look at other people's expectations and think, oh yeah, I guess I should have these at my table. No. You should run the kind of game that is best for you and the people that you want to play with. And it is a back and forth, it is an iterative process to find the people that like the things that you like and to build a game with them. Boom, that's the whole presentation. It's a very short presentation, it's to the point, it's kind of vague, I guess, but the important part, the most important part, is the process that a person undergoes when they write their own social contract. Even if you are not a DM, you should come up with your own social contract, even if you don't write it down, just so that you know what's important to you. So that when you're looking for games, you can find a person, a game, a group that gels with you, just like that. Boom.